Hi, this is Militia, and thank you for joining me. Today we are going to look at the all-important thesis statement. So the thesis statement of your introduction paragraph in your academic essay, and the thesis statement is arguably the most important sentence in your entire essay. Okay, so that means we need to look at what is a thesis statement. Your thesis statement is the sentence that sums up the central point of your paper or essay. So the main point that you are trying to make. So what do you need to consider when you are writing your thesis statements? You need to think about the purpose. What is the purpose of your paper? Not why are you writing the paper, but what is the purpose? For example, you might be writing the paper because it is an assignment for your English class, or you're writing an essay for a proficiency test. That might be the purpose of the essay, but that is not the purpose of why you're writing about the topic. The purpose of the topic is, what are you trying to convince your reader of? Different. And then your audience, who is your reader? Try not to think about just the marker that's scoring your essay, but a wider audience. Try and think, who would you like to be your audience? Who would read your essay? Where would you publish it? Think about a bigger audience. It makes you write a better essay. So the questions you've got to ask yourself is, why are you writing this paper? Why that topic? Why are you choosing that topic? What is your opinion about that? And who is your reader? I'm going to remind you again, the thesis statement is the most important part of your introduction, and perhaps even the whole essay, because it shows your topic and your stance or your opinion about your topic that you've chosen. The characteristics of your thesis statement. It is usually near the end of your introduction. So it is usually, but not always, the last sentence. I'll talk about that in a minute some more. It sums up, it's a summary of your main point of or your argument in your essay. So some essays, not all essays are argumentative. Some essays are just expository. They just give information. Then it's going to sum up the information that you're going to be talking about in your essay. It gives your essay structure and direction. So your reader reads the introduction paragraph, your hook and the supporting sentences or connecting sentences, and then the thesis statement towards the end of your introduction. Boom. And now they know what's coming next. What is the essay about? And what direction are you taking with it? Because that's going to show your stance, your opinion. All the paragraphs in your essay, the body paragraph. So let's say you've got a 5-paragraph essay. First one's introduction, then you've got 3 body paragraphs and your conclusion. Those 3 body paragraphs will all relate directly to the thesis statement. So the points that you mention in your thesis statements are going to be the main points, the main topics of each of your body paragraphs. And that pretty much goes for whether you write a 5-paragraph essay or a longer essay. Your thesis statement should be concise. So don't go off track. Don't add little subsections in, sub-sentences. It should be relatively short, but you should be able to cover the topic, and it should be to the point. So it's got to be relevant points. Don't add in something else. It is often contentious. In other words, it means it's often argumentative, especially if you're writing a persuasive or an argumentative essay. Your thesis statement is going to be something that's not a fact. It's going to be an opinion, and you're going to have to back up that opinion by supplying evidence or analysis, which means you may have citations in your essay or referencing. And it is coherent. So you may have, or you will have, multiple points in your thesis statement because you're writing an essay. So your body paragraphs in your essay, or the parts of your essay, if you're writing a longer essay, will cover the main points that you give in your thesis statement. So you've got to figure out how you put those multiple points together so it still remains coherent. Keep in mind, your body of your essay is going to be written from general to specific. So what you think is the most important point, and then next and next, or the most general and then more specific. Same thing with an analysis. You're going to start broader and then go narrower. So you can follow that same order in your thesis statement as you list the points, or as you give the points to the reader. Okay, now I mentioned that it is not always the last sentence. If you have a longer, especially if you have a longer essay, or if your thesis statement is very complicated, you may have more than one sentence for your thesis statement, or you could have signposting as your final sentence in your introduction paragraph. So maybe you have your thesis statement, and then after that, you tell your reader in what order are you going to discuss this. So what is coming next? What is in the section after that? What is next? This is especially if you have a longer essay, like, you know, when you start looking at 3,000-4,000 words, then you need a separate signposting sentence that links your introduction to the body of your essay. Okay, so what is the purpose? Your thesis statement gives your writing direction and focus, because it shows either your opinion or how you're going to perform your analysis, or how, in what order you're going to give the information. And it gives it focus, because you take the topic that you've been given or that you've chosen, and you focus in your thesis statement on the aspect that you're going to be writing about. So it narrows the topic to a very specific focus, and then it gives direction because it says, this is my opinion, or this is how I'm going to do it. So it gives the reader a concise summary of your main point. Main point in the introduction, in your thesis statement, and then in your body paragraphs, you start expanding on that main point, which is your evidence to support your thesis statement. The whole idea here is to convince your reader of something, and that is how you're going to put it together as a logical argument or a logical presentation of facts. Okay, here are some examples of thesis, topic statement, and a stance. In other words, the opinion of the writer. What is the writer trying to convince the reader of? We first look at the topic. So you look at the topic you've been given, or the topic that you've chosen. Let's take the first one. Actually, let's take the second one. It's more of a typical academic essay topic. Discuss the connection between health and exercise. And all of the topics that are given here on this slide are persuasive. These are all going to be persuasive essays. It's trying to convince the reader of something. This is the most common academic essay type. And the basic idea is true for all the different essay types, but this is an easy one to talk about. So you've got to talk about that, or you've got to write about the connection between health and exercise. So now you've got to figure out, what is my stance? How do I feel about this? I think exercise improves your health. I think that one should do regular exercise to stay healthy. That is my main opinion about this. So now how do I put this in a thesis statement? My thesis statement is going to be something like, well, my thesis is regular exercise leads to better health. And then you'll have to give some reasons why you say this, and that will flesh out your thesis statement. But this is your thesis. So you want to convince your reader that regular exercise creates or leads to better health. Okay, where am I? So how do you get to writing a good thesis statement? You start with a question which is based on your topic. So your topic in that example was the connection between health and exercise. And you're going to start with a question. What is the connection between health and exercise? I think that regular exercise improves health. So I can now write my initial answer. That is my topic and my purpose combined. So what is the topic? What is my purpose with my paper? I put that together. Now I've got to develop my answer. So my thesis is regular exercise leads to better health. Ask myself why and how. Why does it lead to better health? And how can it lead to better health? And that's going to flesh out your thesis statement. So you can now write your thesis statement. And that is a draft of your thesis statement. You're going to revisit that thesis statement again before you finally submit your paper. Make sure you look at your thesis statement. Are the points you've given in your thesis statement all represented in the body paragraphs? Is it clear? Is it concise? And change it as you need to. Okay, we change our mind while we're writing. We change our opinion. So make sure that your thesis statement reflects that as you go. We refine ideas. Okay, so the steps, oh, I hope that you can see this under my face. The steps when you're writing your introduction paragraph. So not when you're writing your thesis statement, but now you have your thesis statement. What do you do with it? You've got your thesis statement. Now you're going to write the hook, the first sentence of your introduction paragraph. That's another video. You can have a look at it. Then you're going to connect your hook and your thesis statement with connecting sentences. That's another video. Have a look at it. And that is the basic draft of your introduction paragraph. So you need your thesis statement first when you start writing your introduction paragraph, because then you know what you're writing about. So here are the steps. I'm giving you an example to write your thesis statement. Step 1, ask a question. So you've got the topic. Now, this is, okay, maybe you've been given this as a topic. Should schools require students to wear uniforms on a daily basis? You could also be given a broader topic like discuss school uniforms versus casual wear for pupils or for students. But so you start with that basic questions. Okay, now I've got a question. Should schools require students to wear uniforms every day? And then you think about it, yes or no? I think they should. So my thesis is, yeah, schools should require students to wear uniforms on a daily basis. But that's not a full thesis statement because I need to supply reasons. I need to supply support, evidence. So why do I think they need to wear uniforms? Because it creates less peer pressure, it costs less for parents, and it reduces violence in school, which I think is a weird one personally, but okay, fine. Obviously, this author or this writer came up with those 3 reasons. And now you combine your basic declaration, your thesis, with those 3 reasons, and you combine it in the order that you're going to talk about it in the essay. So thesis, our basic idea here, schools should require students to wear uniforms on a daily basis due to the fact that students will experience less peer pressure. So your first body paragraph is probably going to be about peer pressure. Parents will spend less money on clothing. That's going to be your second paragraph, and schools will see a reduction in violence among students. Your third body paragraph, if you have a 5-paragraph essay. If you're writing a longer essay, then maybe this becomes more than 1 paragraph each, but it will still follow that order, because in this thesis statement, you are telling your reader what's coming. Okay, let's have a look at a couple of examples. Let's do the one on the left first with the red and the blue combo. Your topic here is technology. You've been given technology as a topic. Now you have to find a specific focus that you want to talk about. So what is my stance about technology? Oh, I think technology, especially in the era of COVID-19, has decreased our level of connectedness to others. That is my main thesis. So technology has had a negative impact on how we connect to other people. That's my thesis, but I have to supply evidence. I have to give reasons. What are my reasons? It allows us to disconnect from people in our physical environment, and it does not foster social skills that we need in order to connect. So here are 2 main points. Maybe you're going to write 2 paragraphs about the first main point because that's your most important main point, and 1 paragraph about the second one if you have a 5-paragraph essay. Or you're going to write a couple of paragraphs about each, depending on what your prompt requires, how many words, how many paragraphs. Then the second one, let's have a look at the thesis statement examples. I like this one because it shows us a good one, a bad one. So the topic here is controlling our children. What is my opinion about controlling children? Children must be disciplined. But this is too broad. This is just a thesis. It's not giving me a why or a how. So Then you can go, teachers have a role in the discipline of children. This is too specific. What am I going to talk about? What's coming in the essay? There's nothing here. There's not enough evidence, information, support, reasons to write a whole essay about. So a more precise or a really good thesis statement for this topic would be, by using disciplinary techniques, parents, teachers, and police are the main agents for controlling children. So can you tell what you're going to read about in the essay? You're going to read about 3 different groups and how that impacts discipline with children, right? We're going to obviously read about parents, and then about teachers, and then about police, and how that impacts the control or the discipline of children. That's it. Okay, now remember to ask yourself, what is the purpose of my essay? Why? What am I trying to convince or tell my reader about? And who is my reader? Who is the audience? Not just the marker, but think bigger audience. So for controlling our children, anybody who's interested in the discipline of children is going to be interested in reading that paper. You've got to grab their attention with your hook and show them this is an interesting one, why children should be disciplined or how they should be disciplined. And what is the purpose of that? To convince the reader that children needs to be disciplined by teachers, by parents, and by the government. So always come back to your purpose and your audience. Okay, I hope that helped you with writing a good thesis statement. Remember, probably the most important sentence in your entire essay or your entire dissertation is your thesis statement, so that you know what you're writing about and how you're going to go about it. I hope this helped you. If you have any suggestions or you have any questions, please email me. My email address is on the slide. And if you need proofreading or feedback on a paper, please email me. Take care. Thank you for being with me. And I hope to see you in the next video, which is a short one all about signposting and transitions. As we spoke about here, that sometimes your last sentence will be a transitional or a signposting sentence, and you will include transitional words in your conclusion. So next video is about that. Take care.